Nwabuka, Dumela, Wiriwe, Mwaramut, that create shared impact and to explore the methods that can make this possible. What usually follows after the week comes to a close is the hard work of turning conversations into projects, mobility schemes that broaden teaching and learning, research that addresses shared challenges, and collaborations that deliver value in education, in healthcare, in finance, in the humanities responsibly, and to leverage its capacities through partnerships with key industry, our students, our respective nations. My aim this morning is to set out how we are organizing our work, at the University of Lagos to achieve this. Research, industry engagement, and artificial intelligence. Our graduates step into projects ready to deliver value because they have already experienced immersion in the world of work before they finish their studies. From internships with global financial institutions to work-study placements in local manufacturing firms, and through projects incubated in our innovation hubs. The point is that we build pathways where students learn by doing, and every partner gains from the exchange. Professional growth at Unilag is not limited to students. Faculty, staff, and researchers also engage in projects, exchanges, and placements that connect knowledge with practice. Across the board, competencies and sound judgment are developed together. Skills such as communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and responsible innovation are treated as core, not optional. Inclusion is built into how people are selected, mentored, and advanced, ensuring that talent at every level has space to grow and the support to succeed. Artificial intelligence sits inside this frame as
We funded 55 AI-focused research consortium and established the AI Collective. These are areas of things where people in this room, some researchers will be able to move things that might be of imperative to partnership. The future we seek under this is better knowledge. That is where Unilag can come at and take a vital position. And I want to speak off script now to say, let's all look at the journey of artificial intelligence in the last 2-3 years. You look at it from the large language models? Or let's start from RAG, retrieval augmented generation. We moved to agentics. It's moved now. We've got so many open source. Then we've got a lot of quantization algorithm coming up. If you look at this journey, look at Mistral, look at Meta, look at OpenAI, look at Huawei Sync. Everything you see happening, knowledge comes to the base. And this is where Unilag and the team of today is very important. At the national level, modeling our national AI strategy, we sought knowledge by using algorithms to pick up the best of Nigerians or of Nigerian descent all over the world. And I could say 3 of them out of the 100 top all over the world, we got like 3 from Unilag. And so now looking also last week or 2 weeks ago, we launched on the continent, we will call N-Atlas in 4 languages. All these you will see are based on knowledge. And that's where, if we want to talk about Unilag, we need to talk about partnership. I want to first reinforce the importance of knowledge. So, because of time, I struggle a bit on how best to present this to Unilag, but the technical me is saying I should approach it from the strategic blueprint of the ministry, or I should approach it from national AI strategy, or I should approach it from the AI life cycle, which I often speak to, or the CBN Journal of Applied Science 2023, Digital Economy, International Institutional Quality, and Economic Growth. If I choose any of these, everything I want to say, and I want to say Unilag should be looking at when we are discussing fostering inclusive and meaningful international collaboration, particularly in the rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence, they come down to data and capacity development and infrastructure. Indirectly, the vice law spoke to them. What this is saying, I must speak today because of time. If we want to build partnership, which now I'm expressing the technical and my personal view, that is one area where what we're looking for, we need to build strong partnership. I still tell you the best of the model, open source models. The best data we have is to October 2023. I'm not talking of you trying out any of the models on the web. Those who are developers, use any of the open and query who is the present Minister of Communications for Nigeria. None of them know. That's as simple to tell you. So much opportunity we have if we want to discuss equity jobs for Africa. It's not a problem. The data may not be available. And that shows us an opportunity. OpenAI, I mentioned to them when they were discussing, OpenAI released their first 2 open source model 2 months ago. Of course, I question him, who is the current Minister of Innovation and Communication? The data did not include that. This is not to solid the work, but to let us the opportunity. When you are talking about inclusivity, equity, just, Unilag and this team is important for us to see. And let me tell you, many of these hyperscalers will not have access to the data set you in this room will be able to access. I used to be the learning analytics lead for University of Coventry University. And I know GDPR. GDPR has a clause for research, which many people in this room will be able to have access to. These tech companies won't have access to it. Also, there are some data sets, even as a researcher, you will not have access to. But for us, in government, we have access to it. You can see how this partnership can work together for us to move forward in this. When you look at algorithm, that is why I know I may not be able to finish this speech. When we look at algorithm, the best solutions you have now, with just one single line of command or prompt engineering, you can change an entire application. And I said it, I built applications where you try, if you say anything bad about my minister, it will tell you to rephrase. We must begin to look at partners in terms of algorithm. These are the things powering these models. I give you an example of an algorithm where we talk about when DeepSeek came up with mixture of experts. Everybody believed in scaling, massive data set, massive computing, which we don't have solution to. But when DeepSeek came with mixture of experts, we found out that we could make some of the parameters dormant, while only the ones that are relevant are activated. That's a major problem. We need our Nigerian university to start looking at the area of algorithm. 2 weeks ago, Huawei Lab in Switzerland released what we call SynQ, synchro normalization quantization, which even reduces things from moving from small model to tiny large model, language model. For us, where we have infrastructural problems, these are areas we will be expecting partnership. When I talk about, I've spoken about data, I've spoken about algorithm, now about capacity development. What we'll be looking at, there are so many trainings all around for people who want to use AI. I will be expecting partnership in areas that are core, the deep tech, AI engineers, AI developers. These are areas where we can own our ground. We are doing massively enough well, but we must begin to look at this area of capacity development. The last is infrastructure, which I've taught also. We need to start looking at how the Vice Chancellor spoke of power, smart city, energy, chipset. We are not doing anything in hardware. Even the design. So if we're building partnership, I know I won't be able to finish this, but let me just go. These are the areas that we be looking at if we're building partnership.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olubunmi Ajala. Owing to exigency of time, we want to move like the speed of light. Just joining us is one of our speakers. Expect her to please come on stage. Yvonne Ike, Managing Director, Sub-Saharan Africa, ex-RSA Bank of America. 20 years of experience. Over. Thank you very much, ma, for coming. I also recognize the founding partner of Future Africa, Inyoluwa Aboyeji OON. Thank you very much, one of our panelists. We want to do this very quickly, and goodwill message for 120 seconds without extra time. And that's approximately 2 minutes. Director of ICT, Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Ike Okoro. Thank you very much, sir, for 2 minutes.
Well, I have to stand on the existing protocol based on the time frame of special recognition to our dynamic Vice Chancellor, Professor Olashade Ogunshola, and other dignitaries around. I'm here to present the Honorable to catch up with the needed. So when you see some things happen in our areas, know that it is a demand of time. We have to catch up with time now, and so it is for AI to flourish, we must leave from some stages to meet up with others. So we are encouraging every other player here as a player, a frontier in AI development worldwide. so that at every gathering, Africa example will be cited, and not just for us to go and take from others. Our blessedness in the country is that we have teeming youths that are ready to work. All it takes for us is to reinforce the ecosystem, AI, robotics, data science ecosystem that will help us from our personal life to administrative life and everything that has to do with Nigeria. And of course, we'll see things go the way we have desired it as a nation. Again, I will appreciate this, the gathering of this set, the administrators of this university, for having conceived this, and I've been running with it over the years. And this particular theme is foremost in the ministry's agenda. As I've told you, it is what we are already doing. We have partnered with people, and we are still partnered, and we are open to every form of partnership, and we promise that it's going to be co-beneficial to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. I. Kokoro, Director, Information Communication Technology at the Ministry of Science and Technology. The last goodwill message for another 2 minutes maximum is the representative of the Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, Architect Sonny Echono. And we have here Engineer Taiwo Lukman Adedeji, is the Director, Southwest Zonal Coordinator of TED Fund. Thank you for spending 2 minutes. A round of applause for him.
Thank you. I think I'm not going to spend more than one of on the existing established protocol. Though I'm representing my Executive Secretary, who is unavailably absent, and he will have loved to be here because I have to deliver this message. He loves University of Lagos, and most of anything that University of Lagos are doing, he always attends it. In all the institutions that we are intervening in this country, I think my Executive Secretary has visited University of Lagos more than any other institutions. And that is why he found this very, very important. He tried all his possible best to make it, but presently we are having a board meeting right now, and he's the secretary to the board. So please permit me and try to take his pill that he's not going to be physically present. That is why he has sent me to represent him. In terms of the artificial intelligence, the TED Fund has been doing a lot. We have been doing a lot because the TED Fund has a special intervention program for ICT infrastructural development in all institutions, all public tertiary institutions. That is the basic ops for any internet or any ICT to develop upon, because without infrastructure, nothing can be done in artificial intelligence. That is why our Terrace platform that we establish in all the public tertiary institutions, the funding, and we are even partnership with United Nations development programs to increase our innovation hubs. That is the incubator for development of the artificial intelligence. We are not going to take this program lightly. Any additional things that we learn here will inform us to develop and do more to the development of artificial intelligence in all the tertiary institutions in this country. Thank you, my prof. I sincerely appreciate your efforts. You've been very, very, in fact, I want you to please give the Vice Chancellor another round of applause, please. Thank you very much. And as I'm standing in front of you, the TED Fund is ready to do more in the development of artificial intelligence in tertiary education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Director, Southwest Zonal Coordinator of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, representing the Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Architect Sonny Echono, Engineer Taiwo Lukman Adereji. I'm just happy that you re-echoed our initial discussion prior to using the mic to say this. You told me that everything that concerns University of Lagos, as TED Fund is concerned, they are not going to go through any stress. And I'm happy that you used the mic to re-echo it. Once again, let's give me a round of applause. Thank you. Mrs. Olubumi Ibida-Paubi, the Director, Student Support Service Department, representing the Honorable Commissioner of Ministry of Tertiary Education, Honorable Tolani Sule. You are welcome. Thank you very much, ma'am. I decided to save the best for the last before we get to hear from our speakers. The Senior Special Assistant to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on SDGs, Her Excellency Princess Adejoke Orelope Adefulire, is here represented by Dr. Bala Yunusa, and will be the last to give that goodwill message. And he just sent me a message on my phone that I will not spend more than 1 minute or two because we don't speak much in SDGs. Thank you very much.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, please permit me to respectfully stand on the well-established protocol for this event as I bring warm greetings from the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals. She said I should let you know that University of Lagos is there to her heart. Unfortunately, she's out of the country and has asked me to come. The Vice Chancellor, last year I was the one that represented her here at the same event, so it's not a coincidence that I'm coming. Distinguished colleagues, recall that world leaders adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September 2015. And that vision was expressed through the framing of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President was established as a demonstration of Nigeria's commitment to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And one of the core mandates of the office is that of representation, advocacy, and partnership building. The theme of this year's week is equitable partnerships and the future of AI in Africa, and is actually at the theme of the United Nations General Assembly on Better Together, 80 years and more of peace, development, and human rights. So this theme is apt, timely, and we like to congratulate the University of Lagos on this, and I wish you all a productive engagement.
I told you that Dr. Bala Yunusa sent me a message that I will not waste time, because when they disburse at SDG, it doesn't take time to do disbursements. Thank you very much, sir. Now we are going into the meat of why we are here. We want to listen to our speakers. The very first person to speak is the Open Artificial Intelligence Africa lead, the man who loves to travel. Was in Kigali, was in Morocco to speak with policymakers and tech leaders at the Global Summit. And the man, I said, born to parents of Republic of Congo and Angola, but stayed in Germany in a place called Bonn. Because we are still in the morning, it's safe to say, good morning. And that's how we greet ourselves in Germany. At this juncture, may I humbly invite Emmanuel Lubazandio.
Is that a presentation?
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you all. I prefer to do it this way. I'm just not so used to speaking on a podium, but since we are in a university space, I think we might appreciate it. So, again, my name is Emmanuel Lubansadio. I'm the Africa lead at OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. Can I maybe see in the audience how many people actually use ChatGPT? Raise your hand. Wow. This is actually a lot, so it feels like being at home in familiar territory. With regards to myself, I used to be the head of Africa for Twitter before joining OpenAI. So my tenure in tech has taken me through different careers, different stations. But joining OpenAI about 6 months ago to be the first African lead of the company. So this is quite the task to do, a responsibility, but also a pleasure. And the first university engagement that I'm having, because we also make an announcement later today on the partnership, is actually with the University of Lagos. So I'm very happy to be here. This was enabled by Professor Sawyer and Professor Ibrahim, who I would like to extend my thanks to, who made this possible for me to be here, to cultivate this relationship, which this engagement being the first one, and I'm looking forward to extend this engagement even more to the future. So when we speak about AI, this has become quite a catchphrase. AI in agriculture, AI in education, but the phenomenon AI is not something new. This is, as you can see in the visual, it started with IBM in the 50s, and then it went on to the 70s, and then the social media generation, until 2022, when OpenAI came along and launched ChatGPT. So as many people have seen in the audience or said in the audience that ChatGPT has been used by many, the company itself started in 2015. So 2015 is not that long ago, right? It's less than 10 years. To imagine how the world was before 2015 and in 2025 that we are here, it's a totally different company or different world. So, as you see, it launched in November, and when ChatGPT launched, not many people understood what to do with this, right? Many perceive this as a chatbot who you can ask questions to. Some people wanted to write essays, but it was not perfect, but there was a lot of confusion around it, right? So, looking at today where we are, when it first launched with 100 million, to where we are with over 500 million weekly users, many also within the African continent, this is a totally different world that we are currently finding ourselves in. But being in the university space is quite interesting because the number one use for ChatGPT happens to be learning. Depending on how you define learning, learning is key. Many people are asking questions on academia, on agriculture, healthcare. There are several different use cases. But one thing we can certainly say is that what is the vision of OpenAI for education, because we are in the university space? The first vision being, we would like for our products, such as ChatGPT, to provide equitable access to intelligence. I've mentioned earlier that we have now 700 million users weekly, and much of those are free. All it takes is an internet connection and for you to use it in your pocket, in your phone, and access intelligence. This is quite a change because let us think back only 5 years ago, right? Was this possible? So we have greater access to intelligence. So there are several benefits that comes with this, right? We have students can use it for personal learning. We have instructors who can actually use it to improve efficiency. And then we also have the research capabilities in the healthcare field, in the agriculture field, many, many different fields. But several different use cases, right? How teachers and professors use it across the world. One being how to build and share data. Others is to thinking through difficult problems. And others is just like you can a data scientist in your pocket. So several use cases with the faculty space, curriculums being developed, curriculums being extended, and many, many, many more, right? But really to get to to the core of my presentation, I've just pointed out to Harvard Business School is using it. Wharton is using it. But today, we're at the University of Lagos, and what we would like to build is having a use case how the University of Lagos is using this as an example for all of Africa. So this is quite exciting to be in. And a way to do this, because there was a lot of mentioning about capacity building. Capacity building, yes, it's quite important because, yes, everybody can access ChatGPT. There were many people in the crowd who use ChatGPT, but how can our continent leverage this technology, which is oftentimes available for free, to their use? How can startups use it? How can students use it? And how can anybody else use it? Let me give you an example, actually what happened this morning. I was in a car from the hotel to the university, and I sat there with an individual in the car, and he showed me his phone. He said, Emmanuel, I'm using ChatGPT to actually animate videos. And wow, I sat there in a car, and this is something I was not even aware of, right? Which, again, shows the cross-sectoral nature and impact this technology is having on several different people. Let us think away from academia, from any other field, but everybody can use it. That video that the gentleman produced 20 years ago, even 5 years ago, he would have needed a professional agent to do so. And today, he told me, well, he just spent 3 days on it because he did it besides his regular work. This is actually quite fascinating, and in my opinion, one of the underestimation that we often have to give to this technology, because this is truly changing the world. But the question is, are we preparing the future generation, or everybody else, how to use it, right? And capacity building was something that was quite pointed out quite frequently today. And therefore, we, as a company, launched the OpenAI Academy. What is OpenAI Academy? The OpenAI Academy can be accessed by everybody across the globe. It provides free courses on how governments can use ChatGPT and other products. It provides courses on how startups can use it. So, but the key is really our goal to democratize access to OpenAI and our tools. And the way the OpenAI Academy works, it doesn't work with Ocean, but it's oftentimes a partnership. So therefore, me being here and me working with the University of Lagos, we are actually announcing the first OpenAI Academy in Africa. This is quite powerful because we will have 2 days of sessions, the second session being led by myself representing OpenAI tools. We will have different facilitators, professors, who will actually show use cases how AI has been used in Nigeria and also in Africa, and this will be broadcasted to the entire world, because one thing I keep hearing, the importance of use cases, right? Similar to the fintech space, how the fintech space created use cases that were seen nowhere else in the world. They were created in Africa. And I do see the same happening where I started this role. One thing I asked my leads, can I travel in the region for multiple months without speaking at a stage, without meeting government stakeholders? I want to understand how this technology is changing lives. I was in Kenya, I was in Kigali, I was in Morocco, and to see the power it has, whether it's providing advice in the healthcare field, this is truly life-changing. And some of the examples that I've seen are so unique, you will not see anywhere else in the world, but in Africa. And this can actually serve the world solving critical problems. And not that it's teaching us something new, but it's rather reinforcing things we knew and to help us be better at what it is that we already knew. So this is quite powerful. And for this, in the context of Nigeria and Africa, Unilag is really taking an important role in enabling this, because launching the first OpenAI Academy, having the facilitators, having the people, having the audience, having the individuals and the leaders, this is quite powerful, and I'm happy to be here and to officially announce the launch of the OpenAI Academy, the first one in Africa. And I know we are running time. I could stand much longer here, but I would like to extend my thanks to all of you for the attention, the government, the university, and I'm so excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation that will follow, the engagement, and obviously officially announcing the OpenAI Academy launch in Africa, in Nigeria as the first one. Thank you so much.
Hello.
camera capture this moment where Lubazandio is shaking me. I present to you Emmanuel Lubazandio. A round of applause for that excellence. Thank you. All right. We just listen to him. The next person I will be inviting, Managing Director, Sub-Saharan Africa, ex-RSA, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, with over 20 years experience in financial services, including capital market operation, and has led senior teams in the course of her career to places like Hong Kong, New York, Geneva, South Africa, and Nigeria. Trustee of the Bridge Leadership Academy, Christopher Kolade Foundation, the Dangote Foundation, and non-executive director of Guinness Nigeria PLC. And I recall back in 2007, the Queen of England said, among top 200 businesswomen, you are part of them. At this juncture, it's my singular honor, pleasure, and delight to respectfully invite to the podium Yvonne Ike to talk about equitable partnership. How is Africa benefiting? Please give her a round of applause.
Good morning. Good morning, the faculty leads. Good morning, the students. Good morning, the visitors, and all the innovators, and all of us who are on this incredible journey to define our future in Africa in a world of evolving technology. It's really my honor to be here today. Like everybody else who has spoken this morning, I have a particular passion in my heart for Unilag, because it is just this place where they push the boundaries. My personal direct experience of Unilag has come from the Bank of America Africa Recruitment Initiative, where we go into African universities and seek the finest talent, and then we take them for internships in our offices. We've taken them in London, Dublin, Paris, New York, mainly in London though. And the view is to offer them jobs. And we want to offer them jobs that make them future leaders in finance or in the sectors of their passion. And so we have them in investment banking, global markets, technology, and also HR, amongst other departments. To date, we started that program when I joined Bank of America 10 years ago. To date, we have over 300 people that have come through our program. And it really is like going through the eye of the needle. And the percentage of Unilag students that have come through on that program and excelled on that program is just exemplary. Many of them have had jobs, many of them particularly in technology and also investment banking. And over those years, we've had the opportunity to work with the leadership of the university as well. And I know that in spite of the shackles of the current university education system, and I do call it shackles because of the times we're living in, and we saw Emmanuel's presentation where ChatGPT didn't exist 5 years ago. In fact, it didn't exist 3 years ago. So everything in life is moving so fast. And when we have these university institutions, the biggest challenge they have, as exemplary as places like Unilag has, how can you move as fast to equip our students to deal and excel in the world that is presented to us today? And that's why I speak about shackles. And so, in as much as I recognize how much Unilag is at the cutting edge, and I'm not surprised that OpenAI Academy is huge. Is starting with Unilag. I really, honestly, we need to give you a round of applause for that. And in as much as I recognize all that, I'm here today to just admonish you and all of us on how we must accelerate and expand and elevate every single thought, action, dream that we have for Africa. I've been invited today. It's an honor to say, technology is in it for Africa. Let me tell you what's in it for Africa. I have never in all of my years seen the kind of attention that technology is commanding globally and the way that it's transforming lives globally. And if we think that the biggest fight between the two global powerhouses in the world, USA and China, is really being driven by who will command technology. Who will command technology, who will command data, who will command information. If we look in other parts of the world, India, we look in other parts of Asia, and we also look in Europe, everyone is grappling with not just how we embrace technology. And in fact, technology is embracing us anyway. It's what are we going to do with it? And then, so what I'm seeing is a particular point in time where, as Africans, we have never been, it's never been more important for people to think about how they engage with us, because we're 1.2 billion people in the world. We do have the minerals, the critical minerals that is needed to support this advancement. We do have the talent that is needed to support this advancement. We have the other resources that geopolitically, not just in technology, geopolitically is needed at this time for other countries to be in the lead. So the question that I ask us today, and the question that myself and a number of people that I'm close to, we occupy ourselves with daily is, do we sit back, wait for them to decide how they engage with us, as exciting as it is now that there is a genuine intent to engage with us in a more constructive way than I've ever seen? Do we sit back and wait and do that? Or do we imagine an Africa, a Nigeria, an Africa led by what we do in Nigeria, that actually says we will do it our way. We will lead. We are going to direct the traffic. We are going to think about what it works for us. And when we and then we will do whatever it takes on our own side. And we will make the right partnerships. And we will focus on that which is good. And we will be bold and ambitious in how we use technology and AI to redefine our future. And we don't care if we don't have enough money. We don't care if we don't know anything right now. Because guess what? No one, if you look at the trade balances across the world, the level of debt across the world, I can tell you, no one has enough money. No one has enough talent. No one has enough resources. In varying shades of gray, we're all in the same boat. So let's be strategic about how we are thinking about these partnerships. And what I dare to suggest today, that when we think about technology advancement, let's focus on what's good for us. The most important area we must focus on is technology. And without energy, we don't really have technology. Without the digital infrastructure that will actually play into that, we don't really have advancement. Without the development and ownership of our critical minerals, in Nigeria, one of the most important ones, which is not necessarily technology related, but it would help us, is gold. We have a lot of gold in Nigeria. And if we think about the trend in de-dollarization today, and the role that gold is playing, gold is going to continually be increasingly important. The people that develop more gold more quickly and systemize it, commoditize it, and make it available to the rest of the world will win the war on many things, including gold, including technology. So when we think about critical minerals, we need to think more broadly about the things that we do have, not necessarily how other people are defining them. And then the other thing that I think that we must really think about is essential, is how do we steal the march on developing our talent in the most modern of ways, so that we're the ones designing the technology of the future, or at least we're seated at that table. And we're adding in our dreams, our languages, our needs, our nuances. And there are many things that are already happening today with Indigenous that already has 180 African languages. I'm going to speak about what the Nigerian government is doing when I speak a little bit later about our own plan and agenda. But my point is this: there's never been a time when we need to be more on our front foot, because in our revolution, what will drive our own economic and social development will be led by technology and information and data. And we need to own it. And the other thing that I would say is we can't afford to be passive consumers. We cannot afford to wait for people to define AI for us. No one really knows AI. It's so brand new. It's so brand new. There's so much there. And so let us take what we have now. We need to have our own engineers. We need to define our own ethics, our own logic, our own algorithms to shape how AI interprets us and works for us in health, in education. We need our own policies, and we need our own biases, and we need our own to manage our own information. Our future depends not on the technology itself, but who builds it and who benefits from it. And I want to tell you something. If, for example, search on something you really know about, and one of the earlier speakers said this, and it's so true. Sometimes when you Google for something you know about, actually the information usually is not enough, or sometimes, frankly, even incorrect. Even just simple things like top restaurants in Lagos, it will just give you the people that have advertised. It's not going to give you the ones that have the best food. I'm using something very trivial, which is why we must really take responsibility for building what is in there. And that innovation is already happening. It's happening right across Africa already. It's happening in Nigeria. It is here today. We're the ones who developed, well, he and his team developed Flutterwave, but Nigeria did. And we know that of all of the digital payments around the world, Africa, it's over two years ago data, is over $2.2 trillion, and half of that was from Africa. So it's companies like Flutterwave that are driving that kind of innovation. So we're doing those things. We have the drones that are feeding medical delivering medical services and information and access to health and education. Started in Rwanda, now in Nigeria, we're using it a lot as well. And the advancement opportunity, AI in terms of agriculture, which is another big area that we must focus on, how we feed ourselves going forward. Now we have AI agronomists that will give us information on when to plant, how to plant, our own seeds in our own soil, with our own rain. Think about it. So before, a lot of the data that used to happen, and I as part of my economics degree, I did statistics and data, so I am always thinking about data. And when you look at data, global data, you have specifics from the United States, specifics from China, you have specifics from Europe, and then you have what we call ROW, rest of the world. And then they extrapolate. They did that for us with COVID. They looked at our population, they looked at our healthcare system, and they said, the biggest problem for healthcare will come from Africa, and particularly Nigeria. And then what happened? Apart from Africa, Nigeria, and Australia, there was no other country that came close in dealing with, in terms of how we dealt with COVID and the resiliency that we displayed, in spite of our lack of infrastructure in healthcare, in spite of the fact that all of our medical doctors are going away. When we should enjoy, one of the people that inspires me the most is Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And for a very long time, I thought he was mad. Because whenever you talk to him about problems, he says, problem. What's that? I thought, he might be a bit delusional. But no, what he's saying is, a problem is an opportunity to create a solution. And it's that mindset that we all need to carry with us, and I'm trying to learn to carry with me. It's the kind of mindset people like Iya Boyeji has. That is why it's the same that the VC has as well, where bring those problems on, because we will embrace them and we will find solutions for them. That's why he's built refineries. That's why he's built cement plants and converted cement from, and what did he have? You know, even till today, there are reports that write about the refineries and the fertilizer plants and say, it can't be that good because he's never done it before. Besides, it's in Africa. Those reports are still there today. But it's one of the most advanced refineries in the world, just as cement was converted. So with cement, before those cement plants were built, we were net importers of cement. Now, we're the largest producers, or one of the largest, we have the largest production of cement in Africa. And we export cement. With refinery, our biggest asset, we would take it away, produce our raw material, send it abroad. They would refine it. 96 refineries were benefiting from us around the world. They will refine it and send it back to us, and they will now buy it. Technology, so our mindset around solving problems, embracing them as an opportunity. And in fact, because we have so many problems, we're probably ahead of everybody else. And embracing the opportunities that come out of them. To think bigger, larger. We have a whiteboard. We actually have a whiteboard. We don't have any constraints. So the most, and I'm stressing this because the most important attitude and rather asset that we have that will save us, that will take us forward is on our minds. And that is where University of Lagos is exemplary in how you treat your students. We see them at Bank of America. They're not intimidated by the fact that they haven't been to Oxford. When we recruit, we don't have a different program for you. We don't have a different program for African students. Let me be very clear. My daughter was raised in England. I know how much she was given. She graduated from Cambridge this year. I know how much facilities she had. I'm telling you, when Unilag children come, students rather, come and compete with Cambridge students, Oxford, Harvard, George Washington, anywhere in the world, they step up, they level up, and they're just as good. And because of that mindset, because of whatever it is you put in your water, whatever it is you drink here, we need to do a lot more of it around technology and AI, specifically in education, in agriculture, in healthcare. We need to be strategic, we need to be targeted. We need to be the ones training our talent to embrace these problems and move forward. And we need those partnerships will come in the shape, their main areas. We must partner with government. This particular government administration, especially the Ministry of Technology, it's not the right word, but I can't remember, but I mean Minister Bosun Tijani. I have never, he is, in my mind, perhaps the most strategic Minister of Technology across the entire African continent. And I will take one of his initiatives, which I want to throw out there, which is Project Bridge, to give 90,000 kilometers of access, which will provide technology everywhere, all our local government areas across Nigeria. I want anyone who cares or dreams about technology and how it will move us forward to embrace that project. Because what it does, in very simple terms, is it means that wherever we are in Nigeria, not just in Lagos, Abuja, or any of the big cities, wherever we are in Nigeria, we can dream big. We can act big. We can leverage our creativity. We can solve a problem right there where we are. And we can communicate that solution to anywhere in the world. Imagine one of our things now in the creative sector, where within fashion, we have people wearing their prom dresses from our tailors in Africa. So, or even people making shoes that people are wearing. Imagine if people could stay wherever they were to provide those solutions to better their environment. Imagine what it does for urbanization. Imagine what it does for our progress. The opportunities are endless and unimaginable. We must embrace them. So that particular project, what we must be okay, it's a very ambitious project. It's going to cost multi-billions of dollars. It's interesting and exciting that the World Bank is already given 500 million, but I tell you it'll cost a lot more. We need to think about how we fund that. But what all of us in this room, every single one of us in this room, should be thinking about is, what can we put into that project to make sure that this technology, this AI, reaches all of us everywhere, not just the privileged, not just the people that can get computer. And when Minister Tijani talks about access to technology, he says, forget about a world where you're thinking about smartphones and communicate and computers, etc. It can come in anything, anywhere. We have to imagine that reality, and we have to implement it. So, and when we do, insisting on the right policy framework on that, insisting on the right digital infrastructure that works for us. Unilag, the training platform for those students that will be the ones, our data scientists, the engineers. Again, part of this minister's initiatives is a 3 million tech talent. The vision is that 1.5 million of them will be trained and will be based here in Africa, servicing our needs, which are plentiful. And then another 1.5, wherever they are situated, will be solving global problems. Does he have the money for it? No, not yet. Does he know all the 3 million people that are eligible for that program? No, not yet. Must we dream of the day that those 3 million do come? Absolutely. So again, how Unilag plays a role on this, I'm looking at you to say, really, a leadership team around how there's constructive engagement around that is important. That's with the government. It's never been more important a time to say, so what we lack data, strategic collection and analysis of data and storage of data. We lack it. We lack the research, the level of research that will really, really drive innovation. So again, we need to be thinking about how we work with global research institutions to put our position forward, to share the knowledge that we have about what works or how we want things to work. So those global research institutions, again, the kind of partnerships with OpenAI, Bank of America, all these global institutions, you have an international partnerships department. I know you partner with other universities as well, but really elevating and accelerating the partnerships around research and data, the analysis of data and how it's collected effectively is another very important area of partnerships that will help us lead in the world of technology going forward. Partnerships with the corporate world to strengthen that. I know you have that, but you should have, especially in the technology department, almost every student who, before they graduate, must have worked in industry, so that industry learns from the students and the students learn from us, from the students. The most important partnership, in my view, is the partnership of the students with themselves and with people around the world. The mental benefit, advantage we have in Nigeria is massively underestimated. Some of the ways that it shows itself up is in, look at our musicians. A lot of them are not really well taught by international standards. But look at what they're doing. They're leading the world now. Look at our fashion. Look at some of our global leaders, like Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Professor Akin Adishino, Dr. Orama. The list is endless. People who go there, out there. Bayo Ogunlesi. People who go there. There are medical doctors around the world. There is nowhere. I would even mention Julius Oni, who Jackpad, over 20 years ago, did, because you do medicine here, you still have to go and do it there, ended up as one of the most senior surgeons in orthopedics at Johns Hopkins Hospital. In his time there, did over 5,000 hip and knee replacements. He's come back home to set up here, bringing that technology, bringing that leadership back here to elevate technology to the level that we have. So our mind is our biggest asset. We all need to create that environment where our youth are partnering with each other. Peer learning has never been more important. Let us discover these new technologies together. So those are the areas of partnership that I believe are the most important, that will give us an edge in technology, in energy, in health, education, and agriculture. And we have everything we need to transform Nigeria and to transform the way that the world engages with Africa and the way that the world consumes technology going forward. I thank you very much for listening to me.
Another resounding round of applause for Yvonne Ike, Managing Director and Head of Sub-Saharan Africa, Bank of America, talking about equitable partnership, how Africa can benefit. She spoke eloquently, but the parts that resonated more with me was the University of First Choice and the nation's pride. Wherever our students find themselves, they always blaze the trail. And it's not news that when teaching and learning are intertwined, there's always the output that is positive. And they say teaching is the act of impacting knowledge onto someone who does not know in a particular area. And what is learning is a relatively changing attitude. And that's why when they leave this University of Lagos environment and they get to the global space, they compete favorably with those who have everything at their beck and call. And that's why I said, when we're celebrating #1 in Nigeria, I said, that's not where my Vice Chancellor is looking at. We are future ready, and the future is that we get into the top 10 in the world. It's doable. Great Akokite! Great Akokite! Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Akokite! While she was delivering that speech, the Commissioner for Housing in Lagos State, Honorable Maruf Akinderu Fatai, walked in. Thank you very much for joining us. For the next 10 minutes, we want to pause a bit from the speeches before we get into the other session. And the national troupe at the National Theatre, the name is Black Edge, led by Dr. Oluwatoyin Olokodano, for our viewing pleasure. Yes, I was coming there, my VC. She's from the Faculty of Creative Arts of University of Lagos. So she's our own. Everything is domicile here. Thank you for all you do. For the next 10 minutes, enjoy Black Edge, the national troupe at National Theatre, led by our own, the Faculty of Creative Arts. I dare to say that University of Lagos continue to blaze the trail. We are the first university in Nigeria to have 19 faculties. Is there any other university that has it in Nigeria? We are capable, and that's why University of Lagos, we are elephants, we are big, and we don't pray to be big. Naturally, we are big. A round of applause for University of Lagos. You see the bias that we talk about. I've been on this podium for several hours. No one has thought it wise to clap for me. Then the people I trained now came on stage to perform. You are now clapping for them. These things I know how to do them. The only part I don't know how to do is to scream like that man was screaming. But please give Black Edge another resounding round of applause. Because it's our international week, people have come to celebrate with us at the University of Lagos. And all the way from United States of America, the Chief Executive Officer of Inno Power Indy, Nabo Emil Ekiyo, is here with us. A round of applause. Please stand up for recognition. And you recall what you told me, that you want a partnership with the University of Lagos, right? Oh, you already have, but you said you wanted to do more. Okay, thank you. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Now, I want to appreciate from European Union, Mr. Frank Okafor. He's an ardent user of the Open AI. He did something, and I just said I was going to show everyone. I already showed Madam Vice Chancellor, Unilag to the world, just now. And what is there is Extal Bechet, the first partnership with Open AI in Africa. And this is us, Unilag to the world, with Open AI. That's what we do at the University of Lagos. Don't worry. Thank you very much once again. Now we are going into the public procurement. A round of applause, please, for him if he's here. The next person I'm inviting, Professor Diana Micklin, African Cities Research Consortium, University of Manchester, United Kingdom. But which of the Manchester I needed to ask? Is it the red side or the blue side?
Very well informed question.
Which one, the red side or the blue side?
I have to balance.
Okay, okay. I'm from the red side of Manchester. Okay. People are wondering, where is he from? University of Lagos and Manchester. Massimo De Luca, Head of Cooperation at the European Union Delegation for Nigeria and ECOWAS. Massimo, I need you to sit very close to Professor Diana Micklin. The next person, Inyoluwa Aboyeji, OON, founding partner of Future Africa. Adeleke Eniola, undergraduate student, applied physics, electronics at the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and founder of Reascope startup. Up next, Dr. Matthew Warite Gua, Professor of Management and Dean for the College of Business and Information Systems of South Carolina State University. Welcome, sir. The Acting Director, NITDA IT Hub of University of Lagos, where creativity starts and ends, Dr. Victor Odumuiwa. The one to moderate this panel session, the Acting Director, Innovation and Technology Management Office, ITMO of the University of First Choice and the Nation's Pride, Dr. Olayinka Adeomi, the moderator. I wish you all a happy viewing. Enjoy this session. Okay. I'm going to be moving.
Thank you very much. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests. Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to move 1 minute. Right, I'll do that again. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, why are we here? Why are we having this panel session? Just like we heard from the distinguished keynote speakers, we need to shape the way we use artificial intelligence for us as Africans for Africa, but also be globally relevant. And that is why we want to dive deep into discussions on equitable partnerships and the future of AI in Africa. If you look at the profile of the panelists sitting here today, you will see that they are very passionate people. We've been given a very short time, so we are just starting off the discussion. It will not end during this panel session, but just to get this conversation started. And so there are three main objectives of this panel session. The first one is to explore how Africa can build fair, sustainable partnerships that fosters the growth and development of AI in Africa. The second one is to begin to discuss policy frameworks, research to market pathways, and inclusive innovation models that works for us. And the third, but not the least, is from this discussion, especially for us at the University of Lagos, to generate actionable recommendations for Africa's AI future. And so I want to welcome all our panelists point of our discussion. And I'm going to be directing this first question to three of our panelists, Professor Diana Inyoluwa and Dr. Dumoyiwa. Because of our time, we'll just have maybe about 2 minutes or 1 minute to respond to the first one. There are other critical questions that will be coming to our other panelists. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What does equitable partnership mean in Africa's AI context? And why is it critical now? So we've been talking about equitable partnership. What does that even mean? And why is that critical? So I will start from Professor.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute joy to be here. I feel the MC has made it compulsory to say how much I enjoy working with colleagues at the University of Lagos. So in reflecting on why equitable partnerships are critical, I want perhaps surprisingly to extend beyond the equitable partnership which the University of Manchester, the African Cities Research Consortium, has with the Centre for Housing and Sustainable Development in the Environmental Sciences faculty. I want to extend beyond it because we realize in researching and working on inclusive and prosperous futures for Africa's cities, that people who live and work informally are a critical part of the equitable partnership. We cannot do that sitting in a stage in an academic institution. That raises two questions that I would highlight, which have been dwelt on already, identified already, but perhaps not highlighted sufficiently. Firstly, to create that truly equitable partnership, moving from people who live and work informally to the kind of stage here, we need better data. As a part of our work, Dr. Michael Dankwa at the United Nations University, UNU-WIDER, did a study of 6 cities in Africa to understand pathways to structural transformation. In not one of those cities could he find the data he needed on the informal sector, which is 80% of Africa's non-agricultural economic activity. That is, to be frank, devastating for the capacity of AI at the moment to truly identify progressive futures. Secondly, I would highlight another experience which came out of a team I was working with, again in informal settlements, this time in South Africa. They had a machine learning solution to re-blocking land in the informal settlement to make it easier to install infrastructure. Great, you would think, as a researcher. Great. That is just what we needed. But the community who had to negotiate the reorganization of land were truly stuck, because that kind of machine learning process said nothing about the politics involved in reorganizing land. So I would say we need to think very carefully, what is the data that exists, what are the data gaps, and then when the AI solution emerges, what are the ways in which it truly can be taken and translated into an equitable, inclusive, and prosperous urban future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful response. So I'll move quickly to Yolua. So what does equitable partnership mean in Africa's AI context, and why is it critical now?
Thank you very much for having me. I think in our context, equitable partnership means just three things. First, we understand that artificial intelligence is an asset class that's primarily built on knowledge. And the reality of the world we live in today is that certain forms of knowledge are prized as more valuable than others. And the rules for how knowledge is created, organized, and compensated are set in countries that are not ours. And so for a partnership to be truly equitable, we have to be very clear on what the ground rules are with respect to knowledge. And that means our universities have to wake up to the reality that as custodians of knowledge for society, they have a responsibility to collate, organize, and ensure that intellectual property is protected and properly commercialized. And that is one of the foundations of an equitable partnership. I feel like a lot of the oppression that you see with respect to how, the Honorable Minister's representative talked about how AI would not know the name of our minister. The reality is those are gaps that have been created by the reluctance of academia to step up in the area of knowledge to ensure that we are able to organize the information required. The second thing is in the area of responsibility. And the reality for us as Nigerians particularly is that we don't have the resources to be able to compete with the US in terms of their incredible infrastructure build-out. I mean, we're just trying to raise $2 billion for fiber for Nigeria. And the majors, as I like to call them, the technology majors, are talking about $650 billion investments in AI infrastructure. Clearly, we cannot compete on those grounds. However, we have a responsibility to find where we can compete. And when it comes to the cost of talent that will make an AI future possible, again, we have to be able to stand up to the occasion. And this is where our institutions, again, have a responsibility to transform themselves so that they can churn out AI talent that can power the global, not the Nigerian, the global AI future. Our students must compulsorily be able to learn these skills, because as the world's youngest continent and as the continent that is already the majority of the world's working population, we have a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to the world to ensure that this technology can be leveraged for the benefit of humanity. So responsibility is another key area of equitable partnership. And then finally, and most importantly, value. We have to have a conversation about equitable partnerships in value. And the reality right now is that the West is not playing fair in that respect. They are restricting the sale of chips to countries around the world. And I am very surprised that academia elsewhere in the world have kept quiet about it, because I would consider this something akin to a crime against humanity, that this is allowed to take place. Now, there should be an organized sharing of knowledge around artificial intelligence technology, because otherwise you're going to have a situation where some parts of the world are able to subjugate knowledge, which is the foundation of societies, to themselves and capture other people's knowledge. This is unacceptable. And there has to be an outcry from academia to say the same global legal foundations on which the internet is built as a public resource must be maintained in the development and propagation of artificial intelligence. Again, our academia must lead the battle. Artificial intelligence is not a space for politicians or business people like myself to lead fights. We may be able to contribute, but realistically, our commercial interest would probably supersede and override other more important long-term intellectual interests. And academia, particularly in our part of the world, must rise to the occasion to have the conversation about how the foundations of knowledge have to be created, collated, distributed, and value captured. Because otherwise, the reality is the number one place where the destruction will begin, if this is not the case, is in the university. Why would we need universities when all knowledge comes from open AI? That cannot be a world we can allow to subsist. Certain forms of knowledge will be more valuable than others. Certain people would have the ability to subjugate knowledge. Certain people would have the resources and responsibility for apportioning what is knowledge itself. And that's a doomsday scenario we cannot allow to become the case. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. So, Dr. Dumiwa, we'll move on. The same question, just 1-2 minutes.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. I will lend my voice to what Yulua said and say, when you look at the equitable partnership, we're talking about fairness in power, in voice, benefit, and responsibility. And I will also look at it from another angle. For me, if you want to partner, if you're talking about partnership, you have to first of all assess yourself. And I think that's where we get it wrong as a nation and as institutions. We don't assess ourselves and our strengths and weaknesses. When you know your strengths and weaknesses and you're approaching conversation, you know what you're asking for, not what they drop on the table for you to pick. And that's where we have to start from. And if you look at this AI thing, if you ask what is our strength as a nation, we don't have enough data. That is a problem, number one. We don't have the infrastructure, we have the GPU, we don't have the compute power. But what do we have? We have young people, talents. And we need to know that this is our strength and begin to work earnestly on need to make sure that what India is enjoying today, India is controlling almost all the best, all the global companies in the world. And the next, I'm already jumping to your last question. So in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, can we position ourselves as a nation that we, based on the talents we have, we develop them, we harness it, we put everything in, and we control all the global companies in the world, whether we are in Nigeria or doing it anywhere, wherever we are. And whatever you, if you are the one that is, if you are the CEO of Google, definitely you finish from Unilag, you are the CEO of Google. Unilag is going to benefit one way or the other. And that is it. I think we should start assessing ourselves before we go into any partnership. And when we know our strengths and weaknesses, we know what we should latch on and what we should be asking when we're partnering people, and we should be able to get what works for us and as well contribute to what works for others. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. From the first question in actually defining what equitable partnership is and why it is important for Africa's AI future. I can see one data from Professor Diana, and even from other panelists that responded. We don't have that data in a structured manner. Number two, I can see a whole lot of responsibility put on our academic institutions, because our young talents actually pass through us year in, year out. For example, University of Lagos, we have almost 60,000. And if you look at all the universities, so the talents are here. Of which, Dr. Dumu, you have stressed that that is our strength. You know, he was saying we can't compete on some things, but there are some things where we really have uniqueness and strength. So talking about data, knowledge, young talent, and how we can actually gravitate all this to see that we move Africa's AI future to where we want it to be. Thank you very much. So I'm going to move to the second question that has to do with research, innovation, and industry. Just to build on, you know, the first question we've asked. And I'm going to start, first of all, from this side, but I'm going to ask Professor, I'm going to ask Mr. Massino De Luca, Head of Cooperation at the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS. First of all, how do we bridge this gap? I know that the EU has a lot of partnerships, especially with African institutions, when it comes to funding, when it comes to grants. So how do we quickly build Africa's research to market gap in AI from your own perspective?
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, true, the European Union has been a partner of Africa and Nigeria on research and innovation for many years. We are in the process of negotiating an agreement on science technology with Nigeria, and I think that advancing on such agreement will provide even much bigger opportunities to work together in terms of what could be achieved together. The research environment in Nigeria is very thriving. Our experience certainly has been very exciting with Nigeria overall and many of the research institutions in a broad spectrum. Now, when it comes to AI specifically, I personally am looking at the closing of a deadline that we have on the 31st of October for a call for proposals on generative AI for Africa. And I'm asking myself which kind of consortia are going to come forward. But I'm directly or indirectly in contact with some of the, let's say, candidates or institutions who are going to apply, looking for partners, looking for the right support, even in coming up with a proposal. Well, if I just that little experience of putting a proposal together in terms of research, okay, well, we do need to bolster the ability of Nigerian researchers to branch out to other institutions around the world and not only in Europe. This requires, of course, an element of institutional support, if I may say. We have established here in Nigeria a contact point for research. We work closely with the Nigeria University Commission, but I think that more needs to be done to establish Nigeria a place that it deserves in terms of what Nigeria can bring. But as I said, a lot to come. With the negotiation of the technology innovation agreement, research technology agreement, innovation agreement with the European Union, and a lot to be tested along the upcoming calls and activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to move to Eniola quickly. you are a student, you are within a university community, you also are a startup founder. I know that your startup is focused on AI-driven healthcare solutions. So from your experience, how do we bridge from your experience as a student and what you've worked on and how you've been able to move as a startup founder, as a student? How do we bridge Africa's research to market gap in AI?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Oyerumo, for the question. Coming from the student's perspective, I would say that when I first started building my, my startup, it was just a project to me. It was just something that I just wanted to figure out, okay, how would this work? I wanted it to work so bad. That was just the, goal that I had in mind at the time. But then, thank God, and I'm very grateful for the infrastructure and the platform that we have in University of Lagos. How do we bridge the gap? How do we bridge the gap between from African market research to the African research to markets? There is a pipeline that is, there's a pipeline from, how would I put it, from idea, where you get your problem and then you find a solution to it, to the market. And the gap in there is enlightenment and infrastructure, right? And that's one thing I would say that the University of Lagos brought to my own startup that really leveled me up from just a project to a startup. Most students can attest to the fact that when you're done with your project, you just leave it off the shelf. It's just there. You don't move from there to, you don't know what the next step is. You don't even move because you don't know. That's one thing. So because we don't know, that really limits you. But the process is really to move from the idea to market is you need to build your solution. After building your solution, what's the next thing? You have to then protect the value of that solution, right? These are knowledge and these are things that I got as a student from the Innovation Technology Management Office in the University of Lagos, and that has brought my startup from, the idea stage to the market-ready stage that I'm currently at the moment. So how do we bridge the gap? The gap is the basic thing is enlightenment, get to understand what's the process. And the only way to understand the process is to seek, find access to mentors, find access to incubation lab. For University of Lagos students, we have a lot of it. That's an infrastructure that you need to, take on. And we have numerous of them, Unilag Design Studio, the NITAB, the robotics lab. These are lots of infrastructure. But students do not know about some of these things. And the only reason is because it's not really publicized. But here I am telling you that when you have ideas, solution, these are places to visit, right? When you are unsure how to get your product, don't just let your project get on the shelf, but rather you have to move it from the idea to the market-ready stage. And these places, getting infrastructure, which I said is an University of Lagos, and getting enlightened, understanding the process, right? That's how to bridge the gap. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your own story. I'm going to move to this other side, and I'm going to first of all be calling on Professor Matthew Gar, South Carolina State University. How do we bridge this gap? Because I know you're also from the, and this is what you talk about. So from your expertise, how do we do this, especially for AI in Africa?
Thank you. It's great to be here from South Carolina. Few things I would add to what the previous speakers have said. One, we consider AI to be very useful in bringing transformation in areas that directly affects our people. That means it has to be used by them, it has to get to them. It's not laboratory equipment that is stored there. even though, like the student just said, she needs access to it, but people out there need access to it. How do we do that? There's a great university here called Unilag, where Unilag is one institution. So if a sponsoring organization or a collaborative university in America wants to deal with Africans, we kind of want to look for more than just a Nigerian university. So one good place to start is Unilag.
Continue. I hope apology has been accepted, approved. Thank you very much. A round of applause for all of you.
Thank you. Professor Matuga, apologies for that interruption in your thoughts, but I hope they are still together because we are saying something very important. Please
yes, that's fine. I just to summarize where I started from. AI is meant to transform, and as you've heard from lots of people, the population needs the transformation. And example, 3 very distinct areas. Healthcare, we're all affected by healthcare. Education, of course, we're an educational institution, that's our first role. And social support services. Okay, going back to the point where I started. Unilag, great institution, brilliant, but it's just one. If Unilag can stretch, empower itself as a force by incorporating smaller universities in the region. For example, full disclosure, I was born in Liberia, West Africa. We have University of Liberia that has nothing like what you have at Unilag. Does not have that exposure. Incorporate those universities. Sierra Leone has a university. Incorporate those universities. Africa Coast, obviously not Ghana because they probably wouldn't want to fall under your control. But those little countries, those little universities, incorporate them, makes you a regional force. Just like soccer. Nigeria is a soccer giant in the region. Then you can go for the World Cup. So that's one way we can get AI to benefit the people. So we'll have people in Liberia, people in Nigeria, people in Sierra Leone benefiting from your resources, just like your students said. And guess what? It brings you students from those countries because they're working with you. It brings you respect from professors from those countries. On the other hand, we got women all over this continent who need better medical diagnosis. They're in dire need of it. Again, we also have women here who need how to improve their personal care. That's a lot of things AI can do. And education. The good thing about education is most students want to be educated their way, in their terms, at their time. AI can do that. We all hear about online learning. AI can help in those areas. And of course, social support. A lot of politicians, aspiring politicians, lawyers, and other things can use AI. There are various ways that AI can actually be expanded in those areas. And based on those, you can see 2 recommendations already for the VC, and 1 recommendation for this partner. I'm missing law. Is there anybody from law here? Is there anybody from your local parliament? Because that's one big obstacle you get with AI. AI is new, even in the West. When AI begins to strive and take few steps, then law gets into the way. So we need the legal people as part of AI, because if AI is going to get into the community, it's going to be impacted by the law and customs of the people. I stop there.
Thank you very much. And I can see from what Marcino said, Eniola, and Professor Gar, Unilag can't be the only one. It's like we need, like you said, the proposal is coming. Which research consortium is going to respond to that? So what are those we should incorporate in so that we build together? Because Africa is a very large continent, and we need that capacity, to be able to move our AI capability. I'm going to move quickly to ask this question because I really want to get insight from both Emmanuel and Iyolua if I come to Dr. Dumiwa. What partnership models ensure that African startups and innovators retain value locally? What partnership models? You are the Open AI lead for Africa. And definitely I know that there are some models that currently exist. So what partnership model can ensure that our own grown African startups and innovators retain value locally? Yeah.
Well, I think that's quite a loaded question, right?
Yes.
So obviously Africa being a big continent, and not every country within the continent has the same tech ecosystem like Nigeria or many others. So I think any sustainable system needs to be adjusted to the local context. But again, the AI technology, and speaking from the OpenAI perspective, it is quite accessible to everybody in the world, right? I think from my perspective, everything starts with access, whether it's somebody in Kenya, Nigeria, Liberia, or elsewhere. Can you access that technology? And I think from an OpenAI perspective, which we started as a research lab, right, in 2015. So one of our approach has been always to democratize and provide great access to that technology to many people. So number one being access, right? And I think what people do with the technology, it's up to them, which again, I also think is powerful because it does empower people, give people agency to decide what it is that they are doing with this, right? And the nature of technology or AI or ChatGPT, for example, it is cross-sectoral. You cannot say it only applies to agriculture or healthcare or others. It is cross-sectoral. And I think by default and by nature, because it is cross-sectoral, each ecosystem determines what to do with that technology. And I think that's quite powerful because it's very agnostic, right? But I think also from a company perspective, and also to highlight that partnership with Unilag, we do see the university space as a convener, right? So you have government stakeholders present, you have professors present. This is the convening part that the university actually possesses. And I think why this partnership is so critical is because we are here, we are going to launch Open Academy starting tomorrow, but we will take learnings from the government officials who are here, from the technologists and everybody else. And I think based upon that, we can then, from a company perspective, learn from Nigeria. And I think that's why the session for the academy goes 2 days. The first day will be facilitated only by Unilag, right? Because it also provides us the opportunity to learn how our technology can be used, the AI context of Nigeria. And then the second, I will then provide examples from the company, things that have worked elsewhere, so that Unilag can learn. So I do think it is collaboration, and it's also co-creation, right? From that aspect. So to conclude my point, access is key, and we have over 700 million weekly users, many of which are in Africa, and many of which is actually free of charge to use, right? And then secondly is the co-creation aspect, which AI or ChatGPT in itself allows by default because it is cross-sectoral and very agnostic from its use. So all in all, my advice to everybody who uses it, whether technologists or startups, start using it. Start using it. And I do believe that AI needs to be demystified, right? There's still this big cloud over AI. What is AI? You're not going to find out unless you use it. So yeah, these are my key points on this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think one thing I can take from what you've said is the issue of co-creation. For what is starting tomorrow in the OpenAI Academy, you are coming to learn how Unilag uses it. Then you are now going to share how this is used. So that's a partnership, that's a collaboration, because there are unique contexts, and the way we use it might be different from your experience of how it has been used in other places, and that's really powerful. So I'm going to go to E now to speak to us about what partnership models, because now they are the founder of Future Fund, and I'm sure you've interacted with a lot of innovators. So what kind of partnership models can ensure that African startups and innovators retain its local value?
Yeah, I think we need to prioritize three key priorities in our engagement with AI if we want to retain value. I think the first thing is really we have to lean more towards open source models. There's thankfully OpenAI also has some open source models. There are quite a number of open source models that are on Hugging Face, Llama. So we really need to lean towards open source models. We should try not to do what we've done in the past, where we've allowed what I call the technology greats to come and dump software for us, and then we kind of create this lock-in environment. You know, many of our students, for example, a university like Unilag should have its own open source email system. We shouldn't necessarily be using a Google, system or something that's locked to one system, because that's not, a university should be able to do that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So we have this tendency to immediately adopt technology without actually trying to explore technology. I don't think we should make that mistake. So we have to lean open source so that we understand what is inside the thing, and we can understand what it does, we understand what its gaps are, and we can contribute to it. The second thing is that our advantage in Africa is that we're jugaad innovators. For those of you who don't know what jugaad innovation means, it means that we are professionals at innovating in the midst of constraints. I'm always very ashamed when a university says the first problem is budget, right? Budget is a problem, but budget is not the only problem. We have to sometimes just apply innovation in the midst of constraints to make things work. So, for example, the idea that we need to buy 30-something million naira chips, $1 million chips, which Donald Trump has cuckoo banned us from buying anyway, to be able to do any work in AI, I think that's a small mindset. The mindset we have to adopt is one where we can say, okay, where are your first generation chips? This technology and the investments in this technology have moved at such a pace that I'm sure there are first generation NVIDIA chips gathering dust somewhere. And it's possible for us with a very small setup somewhere to be able to just build a small mini instance. It doesn't have to be a big grand building with plenty servers like what they're doing in the States. You can just build something small that students can experiment with. And that's the mindset we need to have, one of experimentation and exploration, not trying to do it like the US or the Europe is doing it, but really trying to innovate for our local circumstances and environment, because we are going to have problems that are on the edge. But even at that edge, we have to understand that we are the global majority. Our psychographic tendencies, our psychological tendencies, our behavioral tendencies are actually the prevailing tendency for the vast majority of young people that will participate in work, because we are the majority of the global productive workforce. So we are not actually as small as we think we are. So we have to solve for our own peculiarities and not allow the technology greats to push technology down to us. So that's something that I would say is very important. And then the third thing is we have to be very bold. I find sometimes in our communication and in our positioning, we always subjugate ourselves unnecessarily. I was talking to an entrepreneur who I work with. She also has an online university licensed by the NUC. And I said, Do you know that your online university can go head-to-head with Harvard MBA? Your MBA program can go head-to-head because it's cheaper, it has more value for somebody looking to do business in Nigeria. And the reality of the matter is that an MBA, Harvard MBA is not good value at $80,000. You should invest that in the business you're going to build. You will learn more. And she looked at me incredulous, and I said, no, just look at it on the data. Who you've graduated, who created this program, how it works, etc. We have a loss of confidence that is unnecessary. We've built companies that are model in the world. You look at Andela, it's a one of a kind. It's a global company today. It started in Yaba. You look at Flutterwave, it's one of a kind. It's a global company today, started in Lekki. You look at Move, one of a kind. Global company today, started in Victoria Island. So this idea that we have to be second-class citizens on the global stage because we are in Unilag is a silly idea, right? And we have to be very bold about our innovations. We have to talk about them publicly. Yes, we didn't use $650 billion to build it, but we should be proud of that fact. And our academics in particular have to deepen their research. Recently, and I'll end on this note, NLNG came out and said that they searched around and they couldn't find anybody to give $100,000 for artificial intelligence. I said, where did you look? Where did you look? Because every day I'm seeing incredible things that are being built on AI, right? They are being published. So did you look in, I don't know, where did you look? Where are you showcasing? We have to design, because the reality is that if we depend on validation from the outside, it may never come. So a school like Unilag needs to be proudly showcasing projects that its students do and validating itself as a center of excellence for AI. And it doesn't need billions of dollars to do that. So those are the three things that will be very important.
Thank you very much. Just speaking, you have thrown to us how many innovation challenges that we need to really begin to develop solutions for. And I'm thankful that Dr. Odumoyiwa is sitting beside you. I've been given some time clock ticking, so I'm going to move quickly to the next thing, and Dr. Odumoyiwa, you are going to respond, and also Professor Diana, you are going to respond to this. It's about policy. So we are hitting where we notice that a lot of time the issue of trust, like what is mentioned, trust. So when partnerships come to us, especially as universities, we are trying to query. They don't just want to use us because, you know, we are number one now in Nigeria to be able to get data and take it away and use. So now is the question of policy, which would be the final question that I'll be asking. And first of all, to Dr. Odumoyiwa, then Professor Diana. What policies are needed to protect data sovereignty while fostering innovation? What kind of policies should be in place?
Thank you. Before addressing that question, let me add something to the previous thing said for a reason. And it's very important because also touches on this policy thing. We, as a continent, we have a lot of problems. And I think when you have problems, that is where you should have money, you should have solutions, you should have a lot of things. But you discover that most of our people don't even know how to identify the real problem to solve. And I think that is the problem, even in terms of partnership. Like I said earlier, we want to partner, but why do you want to partner? What do you want to achieve with your partnership? Not defined. So it's a very, very, in fact, I say problem definition or identification is a problem. And it's the first problem to solve and the first knowledge to kind of impact. And when you start with that, then it opens a lot of other opportunities. Now, coming to this issue of policy, I'm not going to give you any policy, but I will tell you areas you must consider. Because sovereignty, I like the word, but it's not something, when you don't have everything, you have to be, before you start fighting on so many, talking about regulation, talking about this, you have to be very careful, because if not, you may be there and not be able to get anything done. So that's about 6 dimensions I'll mention. And the first thing I will look at, I will say, if you want to talk about policies for data sovereignty, you have to make sure you take care of sourcing. Where does data come from? Who funds data collection? Most of data collection we are doing in Africa are not funded by us in Africa. So if you now want to tell the people funding you that that data must not cross boundaries, it's a bit difficult. So sourcing must be well defined in the policy you're talking about. Then storage. Most of the data centers we have are doing B2C, B2B, business to business. We don't have enough data center doing B2C. So most people, once they build or they're doing something, they go to the cloud. So you must address storage in the policy. If not, you can't be talking about data sovereignty. Security must be addressed as well. The security and also standards. How do we share? Sharing should be addressed. I know the minister is working on something with a lab in Ibadan now to define like a gateway, how we access Nigerian data. And you know, when you are defining this thing, it's not just only about people paying. There are different levels of access. People that are trying to do research, you can give another level of access. Companies that are well established, that are doing well, another level of access. People that are building startups, another level of access. So today we are talking more about data licensing in AI. A lot of discussions coming about data licensing in AI, even data that exists already. Before now, people are talking about open link data, if we're following the trend. When ChatGPT came out, everybody saw that this data was saying open link data. It's no longer going to be something open. Everybody started keeping their data. But the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, everybody was talking about open science, open link data. Let's bring out data. But when they saw what OpenAI did, everybody started keeping their data. So data licensing is becoming something of importance now. People are coming up with different licenses, and even Africa are coming up with licenses. One of our own in South Africa will be here in the next 3 weeks. She's also working on a license, Professor Okori. And I also like to say this is part of the things we need to do. We need to kind of appreciate what we do. If I say this is a journal in AI and it's hosted in Unilag or is published by Unilag, submit papers. Nigerian authors will not submit papers. We don't look at how to bring our own knowledge together. We always look for validation elsewhere. So those are the problems. So there's a conference in 3 weeks' time, AI robotics conference, blah, blah, blah. Come up to the conference. Some people will not see any value until they want to travel to London, want to travel to... So you can see that we need to be able to see value and come together and understand our own community and know that we are the only one that can see solutions that will solve, that will respond to our problems, not people that don't understand our problem. And so to conclude, I'll say the other thing that we should look at is stewardship. Promoting ethical governance and accountability around our data. That's another thing. So all those 6 things, if we look at them, then we can create policy that can take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll move to Professor Diana.
So thank you so much. I'm going to respond to the question on policy by, in some sense, just touching on the previous discussion. So perhaps because I work so much with people who live and work informally, I am a little bit skeptical about policy-driven change. There are so many policies, there are so few that are meaningful. But let me say what I think makes sense in our experience. First, and perhaps resonating with some of the things that have already been said, I think for me, the starting point to a partnership is to refuse to see Africa as a place of deficit. I am very conscious. I am so conscious in the African Cities Research Consortium that I feel privileged to work with a bunch of brilliant African scholars inside and outside the academia. I'm really conscious Professor Ismail Ibrahim, who's been guiding our uptake work, Professor Tybert Lawrenson, now Leverhulme Professor at Liverpool, but who was leading the work at the Centre for Housing and Sustainable Development, Professor Timothy Newby, who leads that centre and who's catalysed it, Professor Peter Elias, who's driving some of the work on climate change. I could list a whole bunch of African scholars, and I have not yet left Unilag's contribution. So I'm really conscious of the brilliant innovations that exist. So for me, equitable partnerships begin with a consciousness that we are interdependent. There is one world. We have to find ways in which development can be shared. Secondly, I really would stress some of the earlier discussion. AI is so new. And I would say at the University of Manchester, I have at least one email a week, which is, guys, do you want to get involved in this AI innovation? Tell us what you're doing around AI in this. We are co-learning how to use AI to move the world to a better place. That's the second thing I'd say. The third thing is that for us, these partnerships are really value-driven. And perhaps we've not said enough about some of the earlier statements about using AI to achieve things where we share values. And I think once we establish value-driven partnerships that recognize the capability to innovate, to learn, to develop, then we can go on to develop policies about how we take that forward.
Thank you very much, Professor Diana. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Like I said, we can't finish this discussion here. We're just getting started. So I'm going to give Masino 30 seconds to just give just one sentence about equitable partnership. Then I move to Professor Gar. Then I move to Emmanuel. Just seconds about where we are going with equitable partnership, especially in Africa's AI future.
Well, let me just echo what Diana just said about values. For me, that's the most important thing. And let me, in a way, play my own tune, you know, in terms of European Union. On AI, we have a framework in Nigeria which was adopted before. And we have our own framework in the European Union adopted in 2025. Both of them talk about human-centric artificial intelligence. And my message to you is this one. Let's work really on AI that fosters human values first, that foster local content and inclusivity. When you look at AI solutions, let's ask ourselves, where do the data sets come from? What about our local languages? What about gender inclusions? And let's ask the hard questions about AI, and let's take that as an opportunity to develop the approach that best suits us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Human-centric local value. Yes, Professor Gar.
Okay, I'll push that later. I'll say three things to that. One, again, most of Africa complains about unequal access. AI can be used to solve the problem of access, equality of access. My telephone means I can talk to anybody I want to talk to, which is why our children love their telephone. Two, transparency has been one problem. We all complain about Africa. AI can help to deal with transparency issue. That's how we can get it out there. And the third one is Africa has a very unique quality, its culture. Our children with their great oversight will have parents help their children to grow up. Something we're missing in America, something we're missing in Europe. Again, AI can be used for that oversight of the young people. Drugs is beginning to be a problem in most part of Africa. AI can help with that oversight. So I think those three things will help to expand the use of AI in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. And now finally, Emmanuel. Not last words, but for now.
Yeah, I really believe AI can be the great equalizer, right? In terms of what we may lack in other areas, AI can be the great equalizer, and therefore I think access is so critical, and therefore OpenAI has been so adamant about providing greater access. You know, we have 700 million users weekly, many of which in Africa, and also free intelligence, but it will take a multi-stakeholder approach to fix connectivity, right? There are also underlying issues that need to be fixed. So I think connectivity is one, and access is one that open air companies have a responsibility to do so. So for AI to be a great equalizer, there needs to be collective partnership and engagement across different sectors.
Thank you very much. And with that, we want to say let's keep the conversation going and not stopping now. And maybe we should just put our hands together for our great panelists for speaking on this. And thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you.
Another resounding round of applause for the panelists and the moderator. But I will please request that the panelists and the moderator please take a photograph to capture this auspicious moment. And after which I will invite Madam Vice Chancellor to please come on stage. There is a surprise for all the panelists, which I'm also part of, but I just have to step downstairs. The Vice Chancellor, please. Professor Folashade Tolulope Ogunshola, OON, FAS, please come on stage, man. Round of applause for all our panelists. Adeleke Eniola, Dr. Matthew Warite Gwa, Dr. Victor Odumiwa, our moderator, Dr. Olayinka Adewumi, not also forgetting Professor Diana Mitlin, Inyoluwa Aboyeji ON, Massimo De Luca. We say thank you very much. Please, members of the University of Lagos Management, please join them. And then, yes. Maybe we should hold on first. I will invite those who were here before to take a picture, but not without Madam Vice Chancellor first making the presentation to our panelists first, and then we'll bring them. In no particular order, the first recipient of our token from University of Lagos, Professor Diana Mitlin, African Cities Research Consortium, University of Manchester, United Kingdom. The next to receive will be Inyoluwa Aboyeji, Officer of the Order of Niger. Congratulations, Professor Diana Mitlin. The next recipient is Inyoluwa Aboyeji, founding partner of Future Africa, the recipient of the OON. The next to receive will be Massimo De Luca. The next recipient is Massimo De Luca. After this, I'm prompting to please help me get ready, Massimo De Luca. He's the head of cooperation at the European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS. Thank you very much. The next will be, after Massimo, Adeleke Eniola. Adeleke Eniola will be next. The next after Adeleke Eniola will be Dr. Matthew Warite Gwa. Dr. Victor Odumiwa, Acting Director, NITDA, IT Hub, NIT Hub. Next person, Emmanuel Lubazandio, our guest speaker. The representative of His Excellency Honorable Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Bosun Tijani. His representative is here, Dr. Ajala. Well, I'll please request the Vice Chancellor to please remain, please sir, so that we can take the picture from the previous session, the morning session. All our guests that are here before, please I request that we come up stage and take that picture. Everyone has left, thank you. We welcome the head product money point, Mr. Ilerioluwa Brown, a product of University of Lagos. You are welcome, please. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Ilerioluwa Brown, thank you very much. Please find a seat, sir. Thank you. Now, all right, Dr. Adeomi, we are almost winding down, and Dr. Yunusa, there is the innovation challenge that happened. They will be explaining to us what transpired for some few minutes, and then we will be rewarding the deserved winners of that challenge. So for some few minutes, they'll tell us what happened, and then we'll come to the eventual winners. Before we once again invite the VC to make presentation to those deserving winners of the Innovation Challenge.
Good afternoon once again. I'm really excited to stand before you this afternoon to celebrate young innovators that participated in the Afritech Unilag Innovation in Health Challenge. Just like Madam Vice Chancellor mentioned, we received 102 applications from teams of students, multidisciplinary teams of students, medicine, pharmacy, engineering, nursing, computing, and even the social sciences, working together to develop solutions for African-centered healthcare. A lot of them driven by AI. We had almost 350 students. We needed to pick top 14 teams that we could actually give the funding from Afritech to develop their ideas into proof of concepts. It was a very difficult task, picking 14 out of 102. And we asked ourselves, what do we do with the remaining students? Are we just going to take them out? And dynamically we started thinking, and we said we should actually create a Young Innovators Forum. where these young innovators could interact with experts from private sectors, founders in the healthcare ecosystem. So we ran that, and we were able to have a partnership with ABC Health that was able to select 22 of the young innovators into the ABC Health Academy for Health Entrepreneurs to continue their learning journey. Today, we also have some of our researchers and student innovators, not only from Unilag, but from other universities in the accelerator stage training offered by ABC Health for Health Entrepreneurs. But let's just talk about what happened during the challenge. We had 6 webinars that dealt with the role of digital health ecosystem in Africa's development, developing innovative solutions with MATLAB, understanding digital value proposition and user persona for sustainable impact, developing digital health solutions for health services delivery, and so on. So while the young innovators were building, they were learning. The judges were drawn from both government, private sector, and also academia. We had, as part of our judges, the head of digital health, Lagos State Government. We had the program manager for digital health, Clayton Health Access. We had the head of digital health innovation co-creation hub. And when they saw what the 14 teams did, one comment that stood out for us is that they came up with solutions, some of them don't even exist. And they advised us that we should quickly begin to file the intellectual property so that they can be ready for the market. As of today, we're already processing 7 of these solutions for IPs. Some are filing both patents and copyright, some are filing their copyright and trademarks, and we're just supporting them in this journey. So, sincerely, we have a lot, but I think what we'll do is that we'll share with you the innovation website. We have a website where we have all the information about the teams and those that participated. We had AI solutions that dealt with supply chain, emergency response, physiotherapy access for those living in undeserved communities. We had AI-based microneedle patch designed for early detection and monitoring various diseases. All this developed by teams of students being mentored by researchers that are within their university. So we did a mentor-student relationship, faculty experts with the team of students to build that co-creation spirit. And so right now, I would love to invite, should I go ahead? Because we've already summarized. Okay. All right, go ahead.
So just to give a brief of what we've done so far, like she's explained everything also, we've been able to come up with a short video to show you what the young innovators were able to do. So I'm going to call on the IT to, can you start afresh, please? Thank you.
Their research and knowledge to solve real-world problems, building innovative solutions that improve lives and strengthen communities. The Innovation in Health Challenge created an opportunity to bring more universities across Nigeria into this innovation ecosystem. Powered by the African Engineering and Technology Network, in collaboration with our Innovation and Technology Management Office and the College of Medicine, the challenge gave student teams the structure and resources to design new tools for healthcare delivery in Africa. 102 team submissions came in from 24 universities. 14 teams from 9 institutions advanced to develop their proof-of-concept prototypes. The challenge received support from our industry partners, including the African Business Coalition for Health and MathWorks MATLAB, which hosted technical webinars through the Young Innovators Forum. These sessions strengthened the link between academic learning and real-world health innovation. At the end of the challenge, 3 projects emerged as the most outstanding solutions. PharmaCode developed NutriTech AI, a saliva-based test kit that uses artificial intelligence for early breast cancer detection, bringing early answers within reach.
NutriTech AI is a saliva-based test strip and web app that helps women aged 25 to 55 years old to know their breast cancer risk quickly, affordably, and painlessly. Let me show you exactly how it works. This is our prototype box. First, the saliva is added into the container, then a few drops of butyric reagent are applied using a dropper. The color changes to purple, confirming the presence of protein in saliva. In contrast, when water is tested, there is no color change observed. This shows the test is specific to protein. Since mammoglobin is a protein biomarker for breast cancer, this proves it can be detected non-invasively. The dropper also illustrates how saliva will be transferred into a LAMP device for BRCA gene testing, currently under research review. A mock test strip is included to visualize the antibody-based strip we are trying to develop.
MedPatch built a smart microneedle patch that reads disease markers in real time and supports frontline healthcare workers to provide timely medical care to patients. Across Africa, millions die needlessly from treatable diseases such as malaria, diabetes, and so on, because diagnosis comes too late or not at all. MedPatch is Africa's first IoT-enabled smart micro-nanopatch. It painlessly extracts interstitial fluids, no blood, no lab, and uses onboard sensors and Arduino-powered IoT to measure disease biomarkers in real time. The data is processed by AI algorithms to detect early signs of malaria, diabetes, and so on. Users receive personalized feedback via an AI chatbot, and if urgent, nearby health workers are instantly alerted, even in rural areas with limited staff. Emergy Bridge created an AI-powered triage system that connects patients to emergency care within seconds. Introducing ImagerBridge, an AI-powered smart triage and real-time referral system that bridges hospitals, ensuring no patient is left stranded. It automatically classifies patient severity from vitals and symptoms, shows current bed availability.
Help me pause it a bit, please. Thank you very much. A round of applause for all these amazing innovators. Owing to exigency of time, we just want to quickly do the presentation. Once again, I will respectfully invite the Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Tolulope Gushola, ONFAS, to please help make this presentation to the top 3. In top position, Team Emergy Bridge, with a total point of 90.5, and going home with 7 digits, 1 million naira from University of Lagos. Congratulations, Team Emergy Bridge. Yes, from the University of Lagos with a total point of 90.5. And that's the check. A round of applause for them. Congratulations once again. Team Emergy Bridge. Oh. Hello. Your name, please?
All right. My name is Oluwadamilare Metibemo from Faculty of Dental Science, studying dentistry and dental surgery. I'm currently in 600 level.
My name is Aigbe Opeyemi, and I'm a student of University of Lagos, Akokaye, and from Faculty of Science, Department of Mathematics. I'm currently in 300 level. The mentor.
And the mentor?
My name is Dr. Batunde Akodu, Associate Professor, Consultant Family Physician, Lagos Veterinary Teaching Hospital. I'm the mentor in the group. College of Medicine and Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. The second place team, I call them the team that finished in second position, Team MedPatch. Unfortunately, are not here. They are online. I don't know, maybe they can be projected from Thomas Adewumi University. Please, Kwara State. They are online. Thank you. And the first position, they have 91.5 and they're going home with 1.5. The team that eventually won with a cash prize of 2 million naira with 104 points, Team Pharmacode from University of Lagos. Congratulations, Team Pharmacode. You tell us your name, you tell us your department, and then your level.
Okay, my name is Abigail Boyjo. I'm from the Department of Faculty of Pharmacy. I'm studying pharmacy. I'm in 400 level.
My name is Adeyinka Elizabeth Adebisi. I'm currently in 400 level pharmacy, and I'm from the University of Lagos.
My name is Elijah Ademoga from Biochemistry 400 level.
I am the mentor of this wonderful team. My name is Margaret Ilumai. I'm an associate professor from Pharmaceutics and Pharmaceutical Technology.
Congratulations.
I think it's important to mention that Dr. Elumaya has the first GMP laboratory in a university that can actually manufacture. And I think this is the second in Africa, or the second in Africa. And it's at Unilag.
We continue to blaze the trail. Thank you. Before we invite, yes, thank you very much, ma. Before we invite Professor Ismail Adegboyega Ibrahim, the Director of International Relations, Partnership and Prospects, to give us closing remarks, it will not be fair if we don't allow, maybe for just 1 minute because of time, Professor Femi Otubanjo to please give a goodwill message on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for just 1 minute, and then for a minute also we allow Money Point also to do this, and then we invite Professor Ibrahim.
Madam Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, Professor Farashadegu Shola, distinguished academics, esteemed participants at this valuable forum, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'm deeply honored to extend warm greetings and best wishes to all participants gathered here for this important forum. I commend the organizers of this forum, where leading thinkers, innovators, and policymakers have come together to shape the direction of one of the most consequential technologies of our time. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant vision. It is an integral part of our daily lives and national development strategies. From improving healthcare systems and advancing education to driving sustainable agriculture and strengthening public service, AI holds vast potentials to accelerate progress across all sectors. Its capacity to analyze, predict, and innovate offers humanity tools of unprecedented power. Nigeria is committed to supporting technological innovations while safeguarding the public interest. We believe in fostering research and collaboration, investing in digital literacy, and creating an enabling environment where AI can thrive responsibly. We also affirm our dedication to international partnerships that ensure the benefits of AI are widely shared, leaving no community behind. I congratulate the University of Lagos for its leadership in the area of innovations. I also congratulate the organizers of this forum and all the participants. May your exchange of ideas strengthen our collective resolve, deepen cooperation, and inspire concrete actions that will define the future of artificial intelligence for the benefit of Africa and all humanity. Thank you very much.
And for a minute, one of our own BSc, MSc, University of Lagos, Faculty of Education to be precise, the head product money point, Mr. Ilerioluwa Brown. For the next 1 minute, and after which I invite Professor Ibrahim for the vote of thanks. A round of applause, please, for him.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, Vice Chancellor. Good afternoon. Members of the faculty, distinguished guests, and brilliant students of the University of Lagos. I'd say it's both an honor and an upcoming to be here, right, as a proud alumnus of the University of Lagos. As the Master of Ceremony would have mentioned, I did my BSc in the Faculty of Education and then a Master's in the Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Lagos. I think I saw one of our profs in here just recently. Standing here representing Money Point and our CEO, Mr. Tosin Enionorunda, it holds special meaning for me, right? I'd say Unilag shaped who I am, and I've watched with very good pride as the university continues to shape very, very many different dignitaries that have come out of the university, and even the nation and the world, right? I think the commitment is, the commitment to excellence it resonates deeply with us in Money Point. And today I'm excited to announce the launch of Futures Builder STEM Scholarship by Tosin Enionorunda Foundation. It's a pilot program, and it is designed to support folks in STEM, right? So students in STEM, basically. And we would be providing these students with full tuition and fees, would provide them with hostel accommodation, would provide them with mentorship and check-ins, right? We've got a bunch of experienced professionals. As you would imagine, Money Point has grown from the underdog to a very reputable organization across the different years. The idea is to mentor these folks to get to the level where they can be able to have capacity to also impact knowledge into younger folks as well. We believe that it is an investment into their potential. The students are here, it's an investment into your potential, right? It's a partnership into your journey as well. The idea is you eventually become innovators after these years of learning. To all the driven STEM students that are passionate about creating impact, the applications are open at Tosin Enionorunda Foundation.com. It's going to close soon, so you need to hurry up and apply so that you can get the scholarships. At Money Point, we have seen how the right support and the right time can be able to transform lives. And we are committed to being part of the transformation of Nigerian students. And I'm very passionate. And I mean, it's something that I've been terribly passionate about across the different places I've spoken and different folks I've mentored as well. Very passionate about this, and I'm very sure that we would be able to ensure this positive impact across board. Thank you, Unilag, for this opportunity. To every student here, we look forward to working alongside you. Thank you.
Mr. Ilerioluwa Brown, the head product at Money Point. This is your alma mater. You have no other obligation than to make it great. So he's not looking forward to, we're expecting things like, maybe I should help you say that I am going to be. Yes. Thank you once again, Mr. Brown, for that. Now we invite the Director, International Relations, Partnership and Prospects, Professor Ismail Adegboyega Ibrahim, for the closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. I know that the time is fast spent. I won't take much of our time. But before I give the closing remarks, I think we need to recognize about 2 or 3 partners that are here. The first one is the team from South Carolina State University. Please, can you just get up for recognition? Thank you so much. They're actually with us since yesterday. They are part of the faculty engagement activity. Thank you so much. So you can sit down. The other team that we need to also recognize is the team from the EU. Massimo was a panelist, but is joined by another person from the EU. Please, can you just stand up? Actually, 3 people from the EU. Thank you so much. Okay, so on behalf of the entire committee, yeah, and of course, yes, I shouldn't even forget that. We have the team from University of Texas at Dallas, and they've been so generous with their time. They were part of all the activities we had yesterday. Please, can you just get up for recognition, please? Thank you very much. I think this is just the beginning of what promises to be a productive and mutually beneficial collaboration between our 2 universities. So on behalf of the committee of global engagement of the University of Lagos, we want to express our profound gratitude to the Vice Chancellor, for this opportunity. This is our vision, and she believed in us. She gave us this assignment, and we hope that we have delivered. Also, we would like to thank the Minister of Education, who is not here with us physically, but at least is with us in spirit. We would like to extend our thanks to the Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, who is an alumnus of my university. That is, besides University of Lagos, the other university in the world is University of Leicester. Okay, so you are alumnus of Leicester. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so also would like to thank the Director of ICT, Ministry of Science and Technology, the representative of the Minister for Foreign Affairs. We thank you, our Vice Chancellors from Lagos State University, Lagos State University of Science and Technology. We really appreciate your presence. We would like to thank the representative of the ES of TED Fund for coming. Thank you so much. We would like to thank especially our keynote speaker, that's Emmanuel from OpenAI, for believing in us and for investing in the University of Lagos. I know it's going to be the right investment. Actually, the best place to start or incubate any idea is the University of Lagos. And I know that you are not going to regret this. We have some very big announcements to make in the next couple of days, and I know that it's going to actually blow most universities in Nigeria and across Africa away. Thank you so much. We would like to thank, in absentia, Yvonne, because Yvonne actually had a personal tragedy, personal loss. Last week, he lost our father, and on Friday, he first sent a message to our office to cancel all our engagements for this week. And just a few hours after, he said, no, I have to speak at the University of Lagos no matter what. So for believing in us in spite of what she's going through, we really truly appreciate her. And she's been a friend of the university. We also like to thank Aboyeji. He had a session with the students yesterday, fireside chat. We were planning to have like 1 hour, but it extended till 3 hours. He didn't want to go, and the students will not let him go. So, and he enjoyed the conversation, and you could actually see that from his contribution here. I would like to thank all the heads of the tertiary institutions in Lagos as well as in Southwest that we have invited. And the most, we'd like to thank the management of the University of Lagos, but the greatest thank and appreciation actually go to the indefatigable staff and students of the University of Lagos. We know that it's a challenging time for most universities in Nigeria because you know what I mean. So, but at least they believe so much in this, and they believe that at the University of Lagos, we just have to make this happen. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to all the members of our committee, the members of the University of Lagos Global Engagement, as well as the other ad hoc committee members. Thank you so much.
Another resounding round of applause for the Director of International Relations, Partnership and Prospects, Professor Ismail Adeboyega Ibrahim. At this juncture, with that excellent speech delivered by Professor Ibrahim, we've come to the end of this opening ceremony, the International Week 2025, with the theme Equitable Partnership and the Future of Artificial Intelligence in Africa. In my usual style, once the jacket is off, it means my job is done. Adios amigos, gracias, obrigado, siabonga, danke, merci, nagode. Thank you. God bless you and have a productive day ahead. My name is Oluwaseun. If you have enjoyed what I served you, this is University of Lagos, the university of first choice and the nation's pride.